Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I'm one of your hosts, Harrison, the Adept Historical, and here's one of my co-hosts.
Much like to George.
And Jeffrey is not with us today, and no, that is not a bit, but we are going to be following up with our guest spot with the Bloody Niner, covering the Devils. Well, let's get started. Josh, you've been on the podcast many times, but if you want to reintroduce yourself just once more.
Hey everybody, Bloody Niner here. You'll see me on Reddit or just bouncing around commenting on these guys' videos and podcast episodes, leaving the banter to try and rally them up, especially Jeffrey. We'll talk shit about him since he's not here today, but really happy to be on. You know, we did the Shattered Sea episode a while back as just a little offshoot from the First Law series for Joe, and I'm glad to be here to do the Devils as well.
Awesome. So as always, we want to thank the audience for your support. We got a lot of downloads recently, and sorry that we missed a couple weeks back, but things happen. And Jeff has a business meeting, so he's missing out, and it's definitely a little weird for us to be doing this without him, since he always hosts. But we'll do our best to keep up.
This is the first time in 162 episodes that you've not heard Jeffrey's sweet dulcet tones on the beginning,
Exactly.
and we apologize for that.
Sweet dulcet tones. Yeah.
Just as
he's a slacker and hasn't read the Devils yet.
Yes, that's the real.
He hasn't read the Devils yet.
That's the real reason he's not on the podcast today. We couldn't allow him to be because he didn't read the Devils.
Yeah.
It's been nearly 6 months, Jeff.
It's over. It's past the spoiler warning now. Like, I don't have any compassion for him on that.
Exactly. I think whenever we post the episode name, people are going to know that they're going to be getting into the Devil spoiler. So, right before we get into that, I do want to mention as well, we do have the Sharp Ends sign-up sheet for House of the Meme Maker. So everybody make sure to get on that. And then, there's Sharp Ends is like ripe for memes. So it's a really good place to make memes. So get on that. And on House of the Meme Maker, there has been a lot of posts recently, and that's okay. But go ahead and get on that and sign up and start contributing.
A little bit. There's been a couple of good ones. Tamal returned his back. He came back
again.
Well, we'll get to that. I message him every once in a while, and he'll bounce back and forth. We'll say some things. I just wish we were in communication more often. So Tam, we love you. We miss you, buddy.
We missed you.
We miss you. Yes.
Actually, he lives like 30 miles away from me.
That's funny. I do need to talk to Will because I want to get on some of these Sharp Ends memes. I just have been out of the meme game for a little bit after the Red Country one ended.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah,
we haven't made a meme in like 3 years. So
well, that's because you got to go through your proxies and your shadow posters and stuff like that. Your ghost.
Exactly. I just sent it to Will. I just sent it to Will. Let you post this for me, and he posts it. So.
That's true. I'm definitely out of it too, but for the same reason that Tyke has a hard time getting on as well. Tamal board because he had a baby too, so we had babies actually around similar time, so it's tough. But you never know. Tamal board may come back on more as the child gets older. But anyways, George, you've read the Devils how many times now?
It's got to be. I think I just finished number 5.
Damn. Yeah, I've done 3.
3. Well, I've read it. I've read it once, so I'm better than Jeff. So better at the bottom of the barrel. But I do. It's probably the most consumable Abercrombie book. What do you guys think?
Okay, so as far as being able to just burn through it, I have to agree because the last time I did it, I just did the audio. I didn't read along, and I finished it in like under a week. Easily.
Wow.
And it was just because what is it, like 25 hours of audio, I think, for the whole book is what it's on there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was any moment that I had that I would be listening to it, I was listening to it, and it was probably 6 days worth of just while driving or while walking or doing stuff, type of thing. But yeah, I think the pacing of it and the way that it's laid out and the sections, because it's got
it's way more traditional, isn't it?
Right, like part 1, part 2, part 3. I think there's 4 parts, isn't there? Maybe. But either way, just the way that it flows really quick. So I gotta say, consumable wise, not necessarily. I wouldn't say enjoyable wise or that I like it more than First Law, but it's just different, right? It's lighter, I think, and so you can burn through it pretty quick.
I really like, Joe's embracing the more alt history,
Yeah,
real world war kind of stuff like he does with Shattered Seas as well. I just love the fact that he gets to embrace more magic stuff. It's not like something that's ebbing away like in Lord of the Rings. It's just it's ubiquitous and it's everywhere, and anything could happen at any time. And I just love the fact that he's embracing a little bit more like wacky stuff.
yeah. I think we talked about it before too. To me, it is more of that absurdist, like Douglas Adams, Terry Pratchett style of story, and not fully into that because it's still very much Joe. But it is just that absurdness, like Balthazar Sham Evam Draxi. I am a magician. It's like you're a
And the first time
sorcerer.
you ever see him, he's naked and chained up, and he's just like, "This is an imposition."
So like one of my favorite parts of just him, and that, like we were talking about the magician. I know we'll probably get into each character and all of that different stuff, but the absurdity of it and the weird, that dry, cynical British banter and the way that Joe uses it is when they're talking to Frigo when they go to Venice, right? I think as they're talking to
Yes.
Frigo and Frigo's got his little granddaughter there with him.
Yeah.
It's like the wizard gave that proud head toss of simultaneous scorn and offense. I am Balthazar Sham Evam Draxi. Sounds a fucking prick. The whole girl says that, it's like, oh, it catches you off guard. But
It
yeah,
is. He does all the banter stuff really well in this book too, like he does inside of the First Law when everyone's just hanging out. Especially like I would think of the heroes whenever they're like hanging out in the hill and everybody's got
Mhm.
something to say. But I feel like the Devils has a really good balance to it. It doesn't feel like he's dragging it out. Like sometimes Joe has that little bit of an error where it feels like he's just trying to, he kind of gets carried away with the characters talking. But the Devils just have so much fun with it, so much levity that from the start point it's not quite as serious as the First Law anyways. And not that
Right.
it does hurt your heart sometimes, so especially towards the end, but it's very light on tone overall. And at least in my opinion, it's even the hardcore parts are fairly comedic.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, for a few bits at the end, I'd agree with you, but
Yeah.
yeah.
right. And that's like, it's lighter even though it's gritty,
Yeah.
That's kind
Yeah.
of the way I look at it. It's just the way that the humor goes. And that's why I think of like Douglas Adams. When you think about like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the stuff that's going on there, it's like, oh, this entire planet just got bulldozed to make, room for the intergalactic speedway or whatever. It's like,
To say at
Jesus,
the
that's
end, it's
dark.
like Baron Rickard like destroyed most of Eastern Europe, and he's just like, oh yeah, it's just a nice old
Yeah.
man.
It's like, yeah, you should see him in one of his bad moods. It was like,
Yes.
oh, yeah, but it's because it definitely has the stuff that sticks out. We're like, ooh, when you think about the implications of it, it's pretty dark, but the way he goes about it is hilarious. And that history that you said,
The whole
is
history is fantastic. I think
yeah,
it's brilliant. I think there's two things that separate like our world
Yeah.
from that. I think the first thing obviously is that the Trojans won the Trojan War.
Yes.
exactly.
And the
Yeah.
second is that instead of Jesus Christ, it was somebody else. It was a woman,
Mhm.
and she instead of being crucified, she was broken on the breaker wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as an addendum to that, George, I think there were actually two more. One is that magic obviously exists, and that Carthage
And
won the
magic
war.
exists, yeah.
Carthage won the war
Oh,
against
yeah.
Rome. That's
Yeah.
two more, but still very, very, very few changes. It's cool that whenever they're traveling, that you can tell like where they're at. It's so like a lot of the legwork is done. Like instead of Joe having to be like, all right, in like the First Law, you're like, all right, here's some exposition, which you have to do sometimes. In this world,
Yeah.
they're like, we're going to Venice. Here's a little bit of backstory. This is why it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
but it's basically
you know
the
what
same.
Venice is.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to establish anything. It just goes, yeah, we're going to Venice. We're going to fucking Troy. And you know that Troy is just like, you've heard of it.
Yeah.
So
Right. You
it's
know who
there.
it
And
is.
if you've
Like,
read any kind of history, you know exactly what it is.
that and like, he throws out there like how Hector beats Achilles. instead of the other way
Yeah.
around,
Oh
or
yes.
the burning of the Trojan horse. They're like that
Yeah.
to me is just hilarious because he doesn't go any deeper into it. But you think about it,
Yeah.
it's like the burning of the Trojan horse. Like they bring the horse up and they're trying to like, oh, it's a gift. Fuck that, burn that thing. Like, all the
Yeah.
guys that are still inside there.
I
So
think it works so well too because it's a lot of the changes are very believable. They're just like one slight little change, one slight little change. You know, Hannibal could have taken Rome and Carthage could have won, and you throw
yep.
some magic in there and some crazy shit happens. Like that's so interesting.
Yeah, and the savior being like the daughter of God instead of the son of God, and the wheel
Uh
or the circle, right? And just the schism between the Eastern and Western Orthodox churches. It's a wheel, no, it's a circle. It's like
it's so great. It's perfect.
Same in real life, though, you know, between the Orthodox and the Catholics.
It
exactly,
is.
yeah,
It
It's
really
exactly.
exactly
is.
what they still argue about to this day. No, it's got to have another line in there, or it's wrong.
That's why it works so
You're gonna
well.
burn it out.
But kind of
Yeah.
easing into the characters just a little bit. One of my favorite characters, and even though she's hardly in it, or at least maybe not her character itself, but maybe her role in the story is the Pope herself. Because her being this little girl with such immense power, like of course the clergy is like, yes, bring this girl and we have to use her, and she works though. Like I was expecting her not to actually have that much magic, her just be a figurehead, but she actually does to such a degree that nobody is more powerful than her. I love that. It's so like that's an overpowered character inside Joe's world that he hasn't done before. I don't think so. Like
No,
she's insanely powerful.
yeah, her whole, is she or is she not the second coming of the savior, that sort of thing. And, by the end of it, Balthazar being convinced that like she has to be because this doesn't
Yeah.
make sense otherwise. But when she's doing the papal binding to everybody at the beginning, she's like, oh, I got it first try. Like,
Yes, it's just that
like
easy.
she's like, oh, and she's saying the little things. She's just like, you will take Princess Alexia and install her as the Empress of Throne on the Serpent Throne of Troy. Yeah, first try, got it.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
and
and come back right afterwards. It was like,
yeah.
yes, that's important
And be
too.
nice to each other. She says that
And
too.
be nice to each other, right? Like a freaking whatever, how old
Like
she
a
is,
12-year-old girl, I
12-year-old.
think she is. Yeah, 12.
Yeah, would do. It's 10-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever it is. It's just hilarious. You're right. It's like her stance in it, and I think the way that it opens too with Brother Diaz. He's all bent out of shape because he's going to be late because of Saint Aelfric's Day, right, or whatever. And he's going to be late for his meeting with the Pope, and then he gets there and he realizes that he's not actually meeting with the Pope. He's meeting with the puppet master behind the Pope. Zizka. He's like, ooh, this is even better. But then the Pope comes out. She's like, hello. Oh, is this the new guy? It's like, yeah, this is the new guy. I'm like,
I
what
love
happened
her
to the
so
old
much.
guy? Don't worry about what happened to the old guy.
Yeah,
Oh.
Brother Diaz. What do you guys think of Brother Diaz? Like, we'll start off with him since he's right. Since we just mentioned him.
I think Brother Diaz might be my favorite character.
Really?
I really, really, really like Brother Diaz. I just love the fact he's so like kind of like inside he's really meek. He's just constantly thinking about like the past and what he's done wrong, and it's just so sad. And I
He's
just
very
love the fact that
relatable.
he's extremely relatable, but he's still by the end he's still kind of like battling with himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, his character development, he gets a little bit of a backbone throughout. And then I think by the end of it, when he takes the position with Alex and stays in Troy, he's using his strengths more confidently. But at the beginning, he was using the things he was good at to just manipulate all the other people
Yes.
around him and like make himself look good. And then by the end of it, he was actually doing good. So that's kind of cool with him because you don't see that very often with Joe, where character growth happens. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
usually
Or
it's
if they
usually
happens, it's got a negative consequence. He actually like
right.
becomes better and is
Yeah.
better in society.
Yeah, but his
To say it, and I feel like this is always going to happen with Joe Abercrombie, but I feel like you get strong temple vibes from Brother Diaz.
That's true. That's very true.
I think so too. I think that's a good allegory to him as the temple. But Diaz is just the very beginning of it, when his first opening monologue, he's like, they're going through the holy city, and he's looking out the window, and he's like, prostitutes and beggars and thieves and merchants and hawkers and street preachers and prostitutes and this and that
London.
and prostitutes. He's like, did I mention
London.
Yes.
I
He's
love that.
like,
Yeah, Josh, I didn't think about that. How he's already from the very, very start, he's already a little bit, tempted by the
Yeah.
the
Right.
prostitutes,
So he's-
the idea of sex and everything. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't notice that.
He's saying it, and you don't like. You just realize you can think at the beginning when you're first reading, and it's like, oh, he's a holy man, and he just doesn't like that. And it was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not it.
Nah,
It's
he's
like
just
we
horny as
find out-
fuck.
Exactly. You come to find out, like, oh, all right,
Josh,
that's this dude's sin.
Josh, who was your favorite character out of the group there?
Okay, so it's really hard to say because I think there's all of them have good parts, but I'm really partial to Sunny because I think she's secretly hilarious. And the best part about her being secretly hilarious is that whenever she tells her jokes, it's like nobody ever gets my jokes. It's probably because I'm no good at telling them, but they're fucking great. Like,
They're
every time.
hilarious.
It's like, if you have any suggestions, I'm all ears.
Get it?
Because I'm an elf. It's like, I fucking get it. As Alex is hanging off the mast, like as the boat's burning, she's like, I fucking get it. Everything is all of her little one-liners when she brings them up, she's like, there's the hilarious things she says about being in the circus, she says it so flat and so dry, and people then look at her, and she comes back. She's like, "Yeah, that was a joke." I'm like,
Yeah,
whatever.
I think Sunny is also my favorite. I probably wouldn't like her as much if Pacey hadn't voiced her, but he does this little like tiny voice that's like you said, very very flat. But I got to tell you, the thing that put me in love with Sunny was like she goes, you get a good at least an eighth, maybe a quarter of the way through the book before she gets her own POV, a longer distance than everybody else. And then you get her POV, and the whole time I was thinking when I first read it, I'm like, okay, what's going to be the twist? What is her deal? What's she going to do? But it turns out she's the sweetest character of them all. I was like tearing up when she was like, I know what he sees me, but I noticed that sometimes his shoes are untied, so I'll tie somebody's shoes. And so Jakob tends to sleep without a blanket, so I'll grab a blanket and
fold Baker's clothes when she's fucking.
Yes, I'm like, God! I'm like, it's so sweet. I mean, it's incredible.
You could imagine that as like a montage in a film, couldn't you? Like, I like to do things.
It's exactly what it would be.
The best part too, like the Vega later on, she's like, she wakes up
in my clothes.
Yeah, she has in a monologue, doesn't she? Where she's like, sometimes she woke up and her clothes were folded, which is weird because she just remembered tossing them all over the place.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't remember doing it, but I don't really remember anything anyway, so I guess I did. And Jakob's the only one that realizes like what's going on.
I love, but Sunny though, like she goes from somebody who thinks she's completely unseen, and she does, even though she's morally, and it's perfect, right? Because it's Joe Abercrombie. Even though she's not human, she is probably the most like good human out of all of them. And by the end, she is seen. She is seen by Alex. She's seen by Jakob, and she feels that actual love from them. Even though she has to go back to her life, like she is affected by that. And I think that is her little story in of itself of her being unseen is such a simple, normal story, but I think Joe tells it very, very well, especially since he red herrings himself by just making her a good person.
Yeah,
so sweet.
Especially when with every other elf is described as like bloodthirsty, and even Jakob like completely just says, "Yeah, no, they just butchered all those people."
Yeah, Jakob's like, "Yeah, Sunny's different. Sunny's the exception. Every other one needs to die."
Yeah, I think she does also make like the most virtuous decision ever of any of the characters when Alex is like, well, just stay with me. Like we can do this, we can make it work. She's like, nah, no. She's like, I want to, but we can't. Like it's never gonna work, right?
Yeah, she is the most clear-headed.
Right. It's like it's the line of you gotta take whatever small joys and pleasures you can get out of life and grasp them because
oh yeah,
the next moment's not promised or whatever. She's like, so that's what happened, and now it's like I gotta go.
I love she's so emotionally mature, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I will say too, because so Sunny is definitely, I think she's my favorite, especially on this most recent listen through. Like
Yeah.
every time that she's speaking or it gives her POV, it cracks me up. The and she's part of my favorite part of the entire book. But my second favorite character has got to be Viga, only because of how freaking hilarious she is. Just
She's
how
so funny.
how wild of a
A
character
very
she is.
dangerous goldfish. Just forgets everything all the time. Just like,
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
it would be like from Finding Nemo if Dory was a great white shark.
That's a great depiction. I do think though too, the thing that it's kind of like with Logan's character, right? Like you got this kind of bloodthirsty maniac character, how everybody perceives him. We get her from the opposite point of view. Everybody, like, you already are like, okay, she's a maniac, right? But at the deeper psychology you get into her, you realize that she chooses to forget because she's so much in pain by the deeds she's done. She's created this
Yep.
awful cycle for herself. And I think that's done really well. But she's my least favorite character, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, because she has the least, even though she's funny, she does feel the most comedic relief character. You know, she's even
it's basically like, she makes sex jokes and she
right.
had a horrible past, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. And like I like it. I like that Joe does do more than just those two things. Like he has this sad cycle, like it's a cycle that she goes through every single time, and that's sad and depressing in its own way. But she does seem the most one note. But she is also hilarious.
She is a bit that, right? She is the comic relief, and the I'm thirsty, and like just the
that's why we go to the river. It's like, oh yeah.
It's like,
why do I have a bucket to get the water? Oh yeah.
like, and then oh no, the bucket as she's swimming, just floating away.
Why do we have the bucket? I could drink the water now.
Yeah.
It's so my single favorite part of the whole book though was the part where after they've been separated. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. After they've been separated, and this is
the horse kicked me.
Who hurt you? Did you do this? It was like, I got kicked by a horse. That fucker better not let me catch it. It's like, it was a different horse.
It was a different horse is such a funny line.
Oh, that was one of my prouder memes that I made of the Devils, was that one, just because it's so ridiculous,
It is,
but also
great.
like that line, that's like a spit out your drink line when you're hearing it. But Viga, I think we said it right at the beginning too, is the how Joe has a bit of the liking of Scandinavia and the Norse and all that kind of stuff. Like
that's what I was implying earlier when we talked about it for the episode.
Yeah,
is that he mentions the werewolf, a pure blood.
Yeah, a proper Norse werewolf, not one of those jerk werewolves wanking at the moon, dancing in the field.
Just, I feel like that kind of ties into what you said earlier about Joe's British wit, and the best thing that you can do being a Brit is to be self-hating.
Yeah,
and that comes up several times. So they're like, "Oh, she went and killed the English. Oh, nobody can blame her for that.
nobody can blame her for that." Or it's like the very end, when what's the replacements for Baptiste and Diaz, and they're talking about it. It's like, oh well, where were you? It's like, oh, I was in England. I'm sorry.
Yeah, even at the end, that reminds me. I mentioned it earlier, but the map, right? Like Joe, despite how Joe is about maps, the like whenever I opened this book and I thought, oh wow, he actually did a map. I love that there's a few differences, and that there obviously also is the medieval interpretation of the world as well that he includes in this. So I think all that's done really, really creatively. But the fact that anybody who looks at this map, just go look it up online right now if you're listening to the podcast, and go to the map. And if you haven't noticed, at the very top of the map it says Britain ? And this is tiny little island. It's so funny.
It's so small.
He's not, if you notice, in a way, he's not belittling Ireland either. That's not Ireland. That's just Northern Ireland.
It's great because the entire island of Britain is smaller than the sea monster. It's smaller than the boat next to it.
Anytime Britain is mentioned in the entire book, they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you had to go there." Like, I hear that's a shithole. It's so
That's actually a really interesting sort of whole history thing again, though, because like the only reason why we got
the
conquered is
Romans.
because the Romans had
Romans.
so much like consolidated power to do that.
Yeah, and if
Whereas if it was all centered in Carthage, it would have been further away and probably not as worth it.
Yep.
right, exactly. Like Rome didn't create the roads that went to Britain, so Britain ends up just being a bunch of, druids in huts forever type of thing. But, yeah.
Yeah, to this day, that I aspire to be a druid in a hut one day.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
being a druid isn't about what you look like. It's about a state of being and your beliefs,
Gotta just
right?
take a lot of acid.
Well said. I will say too on the map as well that there is also Atlantis is on this map, and I don't think like it's
It's
ever
a medieval
mentioned.
map. It must
It's,
be. It
it's
must
never mentioned. I don't think. I don't remember anybody mentioning Atlantis in the actual book, but Atlantis
I don't
is
think
on
so.
the fucking map.
It is off the coast of Portugal, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
right
I am
there.
looking forward. I'm looking forward to Joe bringing up all the mad shit that he brings up in this book. I mean, the potential for future sequels is just incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and so when we were at the signing in Austin, he talked a little bit about it, right? About the
Mhm.
next book and how it's going to have witches and a talking cat, which
I saw a sentient beehive as well.
sentient beehive. Yeah, and just like what the hell? But hey, I trust him. I trust whatever he's gonna put in there. It's gonna be good.
I've read
So,
You always
Adrian Tchaikovsky. That makes sense.
yeah.
As for the other characters, so there's two characters in the group that don't get a POV. Obviously, that's Baptiste and Baron Rickard. What do you think about those? I Baptiste for me, like she kind of feels like the character, like she's more comedic than she actually is a character for me, because she's like, yeah, I've done everything, blah blah blah. It's kind of fun. But Baron Rickard has got layers. I want a book on Baron Rickard, to be honest.
So
It's probably, apart from Brother Diaz, my favorite character. I fucking love Baron
He's
Rickard.
so cool.
he's so the dumpling stories are great every time he brings
I
them
love
up,
it.
and just the way he glamours people into doing what he wants, and they're like he has that line about I'm not gonna drink somebody's blood without their permission. That's like
That's
totally
gross, man.
I'm not
that
gonna
is gross.
non-consent. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, but like that,
What
I
a
love
gentleman.
that we mentioned it earlier. But like the end is like, well, you caught Baron Rickard. Like Sonny says this right about like I think Alex says that Baron Rickard's looking really fucking bad. Like at the end of the book, because he uses all his power to
Yeah.
fight the other sources, right? And so he loses it, and he looks like an old man again. It's just like he spent 40 years as Bones. He'll be okay. And it was like,
That implies that he can't be killed either. I love
yeah,
it.
like. And that's the thing is like he's super powerful.
He like regenerates so slowly as well. They probably just keep him alive and like
Right,
he's just like a husk.
right, and
And he just lives like that for years. It's terrible.
how Vega and him, like he doesn't really despise Vega, but Vega despises him as his dead stink or whatever, But the part that cracks me up the most about him is like all of his different stories about how his wife, he talks about her and how he loved her so much, and then she, you know, took over an entire country, or she was always ambitious for this and all of these
Yeah.
things. And you're right, Harrison. I want some other flashbacks about like what happened there,
Yes.
because that line about, yeah, you caught him on a good mood. If you should, his last bad mood wiped out half of Eastern Europe or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say
it was
that, they mentioned multiple times with Baron Rickard that he basically conquered all of Eastern Europe, and they like the entire rest of the Europe had to like go like get him and conquer him and to like subdue him. But I will say you mentioned it, Josh.
Just quickly for a historical comparison, he's just Vlad the Impaler, basically.
He is, but times 10 and cool.
yeah, and hilarious,
But
suave, debonair.
you mentioned it, Josh. There's a chance that he actually did everything he did, not because he actually wanted to, but because his wife wanted to. And then at that point, he was kind of like Bethod, just kind of stuck in that position and had to kind of work his way out of it, which is what gives him so many layers. Yes, despite him being the most powerful character that we witness other than the Pope, he is also like he doesn't really want to do anything. He's not looking to get out. He does the stuff for the Pope because it's interesting and fun and he has a purpose. Like he enjoys being in the sun. He enjoys a good drink. He enjoys being around people that entertain him. He's such a genuine guy, and maybe he didn't used to always be that way, but like he's so complex. Like he's like Logan if Logan had enough time.
I think that it's definitely the part where he and Balthazar are talking about it on the ship when they turn back to go rescue Alex after she lights the blue fire
Yes.
to get people to come back, and Balthazar's kind of like wavering on whether he goes or not, and Rickard he tells him, he's like, well, I don't have a soul, so the papal binding doesn't work on me. I just do this because I want to.
I
And
love
like,
that line.
and so yeah, and then like it shows that I think that the whole thing is you're probably right there, and most of the heinous shit that he did was probably because he was going along with supporting his wife in
Mhm.
conquering all of Eastern Europe and all that, and then when she's gone he lost, you know, his
His meaning.
purpose
Yeah.
until he found it again with the Chapel of Holy Expediency, and he's like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, these guys are a bunch of freaks like me, so I'll go along with them and
Okay,
do
Yeah.
this stuff.
I'll spend 40 years as Bones. Fuck it.
George, I know that Josh and I talked about it quite a bit, but what is it about Baron Rickard that really makes him like your second favorite character, maybe your first favorite character, depending on the read through?
To be fair, the way that he's written is so good. Nobody ever just says, yes, he needs to drink more blood so that he can gain energy. It's just like you see him at the beginning as an old man, and then he goes away, and then he has a conversation with somebody about biting somebody, and if it all happens very, very organically. I just think
Yeah.
the way, despite the fact that he is a traditional vampire,
Yeah.
he's got, he has to drink blood. He doesn't like, except the sunlight, to be fair. But everything else works.
Yes.
Yep.
But it never needs to be explained because already know what a vampire is.
Yes.
When we'll get into Duke Michael a little bit, but when he
Yeah.
finally is confronting Duke Michael and Duke Michael thinks that he's got him, and then he turns into the mist, you know what I mean? And like the thing that cracks me up is it's Rickard has that traditional vampire thing where you can tell like when he's not just trying to murder people, it's like the two fangs drink your blood, everything's nice, he dabs it, he like wipes off their neck, you
Yep,
know, and
yeah.
lets them go on their way. But when he's not being gentle, it's like the crazy 30 days of night type vampires with the big thing, and he
Yeah.
just rips out their entire
Yeah,
throat and stuff
yeah.
like Jesus. So he's not just your, you
Yeah.
know, your Nosferatu style or your Bram Stoker style. It's like an amalgamation of all the different vampires, and depending on how violent he wants to be, that's what comes
Yeah.
out. You know, and
And
he
when
turns into Mr. Bats or whatever.
when he's fighting the sorcerers at the end too, I thought, man, I feel like he'd be more powerful. But I had to remind myself that, Joe does this sometimes. Well, a character doesn't seem as powerful, but he does a good job at balancing and power scaling characters. So like he was fighting three of them at one time, all psychologically by manipulating them to do stuff to each other, while also fighting off their innate magic stuff, which is something Joe does a lot. There's a lot of magic happening in the
It needs
meantime.
the ageism.
Yeah.
Yes, it drains him. Yeah. But
Yeah,
even
so
after he gets drained, he still fucks up the last bitch, catches on fire, and survives.
yeah, that was the best glamour there, because like you just said, he's fighting them, but you got to remember, like, these aren't just, you know, peasants on
Normal
the
people.
street. Like
Yeah.
these are scholarly, learned sorcerers, magicians, whatever you want to call it, right? That they understand what's happening to them, and they start to catch it, and he's still controlling them for a minute.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I think you should introduce her to the fire. He's like, yes, please.
Yes,
Just
yes,
like,
yes, yeah. Yeah,
just
he's really cool.
immolates
He's
her.
really cool.
Yeah. I think with
What about
Baptiste,
Baptiste? Yeah, perfect.
yeah. So her not having the POV kind of makes sense. And I'm still curious. I don't know if this is going to be something that is confirmed or not confirmed, but Caruso at the end, right, comes in, very similar character, uh, but
Yeah.
obviously different. Like he's male, but
He's
it's
less
kind of that jack of
confident.
all trades. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think with Baptiste, there's been questions that have floated around. It's like, well, did she have some sort of power? Was she just a human, or was she something different? Was she a
Mm-hmm.
siren? Was just something, like whatever. And I don't know if maybe it's some sort of reincarnation type thing where when they,
Hmm.
when they die, they come back, and like Caruso is the next reincarnation. But that doesn't make sense because the age, it doesn't really, it doesn't
Yeah,
fit in.
maybe.
But
I think the implication is that Baptiste was a normal person, but
right.
it's Joe Abercrombie, so who the fuck actually knows?
Yeah. And I mean, like, this is a world where all sorts of crazy weird
Yeah,
stuff is happening, like demons are real,
Like
angels are real, so
yeah,
you're saying, like Baptiste is like a spirit that hops bodies or
something
something
like
like that.
that, right? Like reincarnation, but not, from birth type thing. I don't know. Who We'll see what happens with that in future books. But I think
yeah,
Baptiste's character and just you know, it's kind of like Casca a little bit. You know what I
yeah,
mean? As
I
far
got
as
that
like
vibe
Baptiste
with
is a
that.
lot like Oscar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
just
Yeah,
knows everybody is part of all the circles everywhere, can get into anything. It's kind of like the I am General Nekimo Casca and I am here for dinner. It's like that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so I loved her. I loved her, like her, when they're on the beach with Baltasar and he's trying to find boots that fit and he's just struggling, like he's having a hard time of
I
it.
love that
And
scene. I love that scene.
she just whips off the boots and like puts them on and like looks great. And Baltasar is like, "How do you
He's
do
just
this?" She's like,
grumbling.
"I was a corpse robber for 3 months back in,
Yeah,
again,
of course, she's done
Ukraine
everything
or
for 3
something."
months. Yeah,
I
Exactly.
love
just
that.
enough
I
time to
love
learn
that
it.
because everybody knows somebody that's like that. It's like, oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that, and it's
Yeah,
infuriating when they're right.
exactly. And it doesn't matter what it is they do, they pick it up and they're good. You know what it makes me think of? There's a side note because I'm reading it right now. It's like Judge from Blood Meridian.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just, it doesn't matter what he tries, he's just good at everything. Um,
A lot of bad
Baptiste
things.
is, yeah, Baptiste is a much better person than Judge. We'll say that. But
Um, I was just gonna say on the note of Balthazar, right? Like talking about him for a minute. Balthazar is he is like the
He's more
character.
fear.
Yeah, he's
he's the Morvir for sure.
interestingly enough
No,
though,
sorry, no. Sorry, he's half Morveer, half Brother Longfoot.
oh my god. I think
Yeah.
Balthazar is more Veer without narcissism. I
He's
don't think
100%. What are you
I
talking
know.
about?
I don't think he is a narcissist. I really don't think he is. You know why? Because at the end, he decides that he was wrong. No, narcissist cannot do that inherently. Psychologically, a narcissist cannot admit they're wrong.
I'd argue that Morveer realized he was wrong in his last moment.
No,
His very last
Balthazar,
moment.
The last few seconds.
Morveer did not do it because he realized he was wrong and that his mindset was incorrect. He was like, "Oh, I fucked up. I made a mistake." Balthazar is inherently like, "Oh my god, like I've been viewing the world differently. This is all right." Now, tragically, he gets punished for it anyways because his situation. But yeah, go ahead.
That's probably the saddest part. Look at Baptiste getting a fucking head bitten off is obviously.
What did you do? What
But
did
to be
you
fair,
do?
the amount of times she said, "Yeah, next time I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna retire next time." Yep, yeah. I was like, "Yep, she's gonna die."
Yeah.
Like, straight.
Yep. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
But then that bit when they just all get stuffed back in the cages, and Balthazar's like, "What the fuck? Like, I've actually genuinely changed my mind.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I want to support. Oh, I could do so much better." And they do lose out by not taking
they
them put
do.
off of the offer. So
They do.
kind of
Yeah.
proven right. But the
I
way
think
that
it's
they're all just so like,
Yeah.
they're yeah, this is just what happens. Like, we have our fun, we do our mission, and then we just get back in the cage.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's Suicide Squad type thing. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you guys aren't winning
It
your
is
freedom
100%.
here. You're going until you die, and then we'll
Yeah.
replace you with someone else.
I
Because
mean,
they even
until
say that
that
to
point
Balthazar. It's
too.
like, you know how many sorcerers we've lost that
Yeah.
you've replaced?
Yeah, I mean, Balthazar is the only one that is actually tragic for, though, right? But like, I do because he's the only one who, like, everybody else has their reasons for being where they're at. Like, they're okay to be with living that lifestyle. But
Mhm.
Balthazar, I do think it is tragic because like he does change his mind. But I will say, Balthazar has the most jaw-dropping moments of the entire series. He has the most coolest magic fight scene I've seen in a book in ages. his fucking like counter spell shit and him like matching a sorcerer and he's a wizard. That is cool as fuck. He really is as good as he says. A magician. You got me. He really is as good as he says he is, and that's so cool.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You're absolutely right. I also love the fact that Joe never feels like he has to explain what the difference is between a sorcerer, a magician, and a wizard.
Well, Balthazar does say it. He says that a sorcerer is somebody who has innate magic, and a magician is someone who learns magic.
It's D&D rules. Okay.
It's D&D rules.
It's like he's scientifically proven the ways to do it right, and it's all the runes and everything.
Yeah.
But so I think his fight against Eudoxia in Lady Severa's body, right? Which that was so I want to get into that when we get through the characters here on like what twist I saw coming and what I didn't. But the when she threw the lightning at him and then he just like on reflex splits the lightning, he's like, you threw lightning. She's like, and you caught it. And they both like kind of step back and like,
I'm in love.
Yeah, exactly. But that whole interaction between the two is like you said, Harrison was like, no, he's legit like the second best necromancer in all of Europe, maybe third, whatever. It was like, no, so he's not just a necromancer. Like he knows how to do all these things. He counters the pyromancer. He counters, the what is the
mind control spell? Yeah, the mind control spell. Yeah,
all of those different things. Like it's not just an attack vector for them to get into you, but it also opens a portal back to them. And like how he's doing all the things. Like he's legit, and I hope that he's just one of the recurring ones because his take on things and the way he's breaking it down is always hilarious. And like through this book, this is his first time with the group, right? And so I wonder if he won't be a POV in the next book, but he'll be he'll be still with the group, obviously.
Yeah, I could see Balthazar being the one character who figures maybe not how to break the binding, but figures out a way around it, and we see that in play out, like outside of his POV. I could see that happening. And be kind of cathartic, but also like, you just don't know. But
I would be happy if Balthazar just happens to be the main character of the whole series.
The whole like the stones, the druid stones when he
that's badass. That's cool.
When he summons
I love it. That is such a good scene because obviously you've seen him do the same thing before, when he's pretended to do something else, but he's actually doing something sneaky.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have to see it this time. And then when he summons the fucking Shaxeb.
Yep, Shaxeb. Everybody's like,
and she's like this enormous, like, and she can't even look at her, and she's just like, "Oh no, can't do it." Actually, sorry.
Harrison, you said it earlier, is how Joe does the power scaling, and we see just how powerful that Baron Rickard is, and Baron Rickard's yelling at Balthazar, like, "What are you doing, you fool? Send her back, and she, shut up, you undead worm, or I'll crush you." And he's like, "I'm sorry." So like, even Rickard's like, "Oh God." So
I like that part too, like the fact that I don't want to get stuck on Baron Rickard because we already talked about him, but I do like how Baptiste. This is why I think Baptiste is a normal person, because of this scene. Because she immediately just collapses and is like, ah! Oh, and then Jakob, only because he's seen horrors, is like, oh, just collapses. And then Baron Rickard knows the magic, and he can withstand the demonic energy, and it's just like cowering. That is so cool. That's awesome. Yeah. But Balthazar is very, very powerful. And I think you're right, George. I think that it'd be cool to see him like do like some crazy main character stuff later on. Yeah. What do you guys? We have two more characters left in this main group here, and we'll end with Alex. So Jakob of Thorn. I feel like from my point of view, I like this character's fine. He's kind of boring, but I was proud of Joe because this story has a lot of characters that he doesn't normally do, and he kind of he does a smart thing. He doesn't just subvert expectations. He subverts his own expectations and flip-flops back and forth. So like Jakob of Thorn, like he's like, oh, this is pretty box standard. And then you get to the end and you realize, oh, this guy is as fucked up as the rest emotionally, because he he is stuck in his own way of thinking. He is incomparable. He is incapable of thinking that like things can be different. He's like the old man. He's a boomer. He can't realize. He can't conceive that
Stuck
things
in the
can
same
be better.
routine for like 100 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
I
and
mean,
that is tragic.
it's insane.
Exactly. Like,
I
what are
do.
you doing, bro? You actually do have an opportunity. Alex is a good ruler for once. She is,
Right.
and he throws away the opportunity. And I'm like, what the fuck? But it's also great.
Well, he's made his vows and he's going to stick with his vows. And that's just what I think I love the backstory of Jakob more than the current character of Jakob.
I
You know
also
what I mean?
agree with that.
So
Yes.
I think that's what it is when it was like he was the grand marshal of the Golden Order of whatever, right? And he convinced
Yeah.
them to put the wheel
It's
on the thing.
executioner.
And then he murders all of the other members because they weren't as righteous as
Faithful.
he
Yes.
was,
Yes.
as faithful. And like all these different things that he talks about. And, when he dies and he comes back and he's trying to remember, he's like, oh shit, what was I doing? Was I fighting the Celts right now? What the fuck is that? No, it wasn't that. It was, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm off the coast on the way to Troy. That's right. And so
He's like
like,
Kernan Craw if Craw could come back to life.
yes. And
he kind of sucks, but also like he's cool, I guess.
yeah, and his just plodding along and like he knows that he's gonna die, but that's one of Sonny's lines that cracks me up is like, what happened to I think it's the second Mar what's the second Marcian, the one on the ship, the
Yeah.
cousin
Oh,
Marcian.
I get that mixed up
He's
to be
like,
honest, but
yeah,
yeah.
it's like what happened to Marcion? Well, he was fighting in a battle to the death with Jakob, so he probably died. Like, he's like, and it's not that Jakob like he is a skilled swordsman, right? Is like a mix of that Kernan Craw and
Yeah.
Jonas Clover type thing. Like
Yeah.
he picks
I
his
think
moment, but the thing with him is he can pick his moment right up until the end where everyone else would be like, I've already killed this
Yeah.
motherfucker. Like, what the hell? And like, it doesn't matter. You stuck him through the heart and he still picks his moment and he still killed you.
Yeah.
So he's really cool that way. I love what I really love about Jakob is his relationship with Sunny. And that,
Yeah.
when they're in the middle of the battles and like he feels her press up against him and she's like, good to see you. He's like, good to not see you, right? And then she bounces around and
it's so
he
sweet.
he has that one moment where they're fighting at the plague cathedral against the
Yeah.
third cousin, the angel of Troy, and everybody's sword starts sticking because the belt loop
Yeah.
hasn't come undone or that person's crossbow doesn't go off, and he's like, yeah, battles can have turns of luck, but this looks like the work of an invisible elf, and so he's just been
Yeah.
through it enough times that he knows that
I
Sonny's
do.
out there working her shit.
I think that's the
That's
thing I like
always
about
cool.
Jakob too is the fact that like even though he is like this hardened individual who is like kind of stuck in his ways, he also is not prejudiced at all. Really, he is just he really is about his mission only.
I think it's
George,
for yeah.
what is your opinions on Jakob? How do you feel about him?
But I love Jakob. I just love the fact that like the first thing on his mind all the time whenever his chapter starts, it's like, oh, my knee hurts so much. Oh my god. Oh,
He's
they've
got a
got my
little
back.
Glock
Oh,
on
my
him.
shoulders. Everything's just terrible. I hate it all the time. Why am I still alive? Oh yeah.
Yep, he's got a
I
little.
just love it because Joe's writing is always in a good way repetitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always repeats important things that you really want to remember, and I feel like I kind of interjected earlier, but I feel like Jakob has a lot of Glock through him as well.
Yep.
Like he's so self-tortured
Yeah.
at the point where he hates himself, and I feel like his inner monologue is more like Glock's than any other character.
That's a great point, George. I didn't
Agreed.
think about it that way. He's like Glocked with a code.
It's like Glock if he had any morals.
Right. And it's funny too, Harrison, because you said like he's not biased or prejudiced, right? But I think it's
Yeah.
probably because he's been around for so long
Yeah.
and he's done such horrible shit himself. He's like, everybody's
everybody's
got a little bit of something, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, he doesn't hold anything against anyone because where does he get the right, like, people in glass houses don't throw stones type thing,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is for him. I actually, like, a lot of people that I saw the commentary around them were like, Jakob was boring, or, oh, he's just Logan. It was like, it's very easy to say that this character is just
Yeah.
a remix of that or whatever, but it's not really.
I feel like for audiobook listeners specifically, I think it's going to work more just because of the associations with different kinds of voices.
Yeah.
But
Good point.
I feel like if I'd have read this the first time, I would have made those connections. But now that I've listened to it a few times, I think all the characters are like their own unique thing.
Yeah.
And I will
I
say
think
that.
too. Go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say with the audiobooks too, because I have not gone through the entire First Law with audiobook. I've done only Red Country actually, on audiobook, but that was what got me into it, is because you guys kept pushing and pushing. It was like, hey, you got to listen to Pacey. And so
Yes.
I got the audiobook for this first. I got it on Kindle and audiobook because I wanted to wait until I got the hard copy at
Yeah, I
the
remember
book
talking about
signing.
that. Yeah.
And so that's where now the next time I read through First Law, which will be, I'll probably start that in the next month or two.
Sure.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to do all the audiobooks all the way
I'm
through.
excited for
Of
you, man.
all
You're
of
gonna
them.
enjoy it.
Because it was like, yeah, the Devils with Pacey on audiobook is like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And then, we'll talk about this a later time. I don't want to go on the side tangent, but I've never really done audiobooks before. It's just not been my thing. But listening to Pacey do the Devils and listening to Red Country while you guys were going through the Red Country review, and then the suggestion for Matt Dinneman's Dungeon Crawler Carl came out, and I listened to that. I was like, okay, audiobooks done right are phenomenal.
Yeah, they're insane. They're like a cinematic experience.
Exactly. And
You're
it's
right, because I've listened to some fucking dismal audiobooks that I would just never. I listen to the Game of Thrones one if you haven't, because it's fucking awful. It's the most. And no shade on the guy. He was like 80 when he did it, but they should have picked somebody else.
yeah. That's the thing. It's got, the narrator has to have, the ability and the range to do it and really separate the characters. Because I think for me, the reason I didn't really do audiobooks before is the couple of times where I tried, they'd been ass. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Because in my own mind, like, I have whatever the hyperphantasia, whatever it's called, where I can create like the whole movie.
Yeah, your imagination is too powerful to be contained by an audiobook.
Exactly. But these ones are, so
They're
quality that
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, I wouldn't have made them sound that way, but I like the way that this one sounds. But when it's just that same monotone reading of the whole thing all the way through, it was like, get fucked. I'm not doing that. I'm not wasting my
Oh
time
yeah, I
here.
hate that shit. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
The point of the audiobook, honestly, yes, you can listen on the go, but it's to enhance the experience. You're adding a whole nother layer. You're adding a layer of voice, of sound that you don't get to add. And
Exactly.
but for our last character, it obviously is Alex. I will say, I like to say my opinion first, that way you guys can take your time on it. And that's the fact for me, Alex is definitely, she's a character who I foresaw not being the queen right off the bat, but also as a Joe Abercrombie fan, that's the only reason why. However, she simultaneously has, despite her doing that, being like the character who is not actually the queen, she actually does fulfill that role by her journey, and by the end, she is going to be a good queen. She's like Giselle, but like better, like because she's got better experience, better personality for it. So like he double red herrings himself. Joe Abercrombie does, I think, by being like, yeah, you look at this character, yeah, obviously she's the queen, right? And you're like, and but then she turns out to actually be a good person by the end. Like, it's cool. I love it. What do you guys think?
Yeah. The worst princess ever.
The worst princess ever. You're exactly right, and it's often said, and Joe often says in his books through characters, that the worst, the best person to have power is the person that doesn't want it that much.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Alex, she, despite maybe not having the right reasons, makes the right decisions constantly throughout the book.
Yes.
Protecting her friends and trying to survive and actually trying to do what's right, even though it might be influenced by something else. Like you said, she learns and grows through that process.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the it's just she is such a good character. I fucking love Alex.
I think she's a great character too. I love she's self-deprecating, you know, but she always like she puts herself down when she's thinking about the different things like Faraday fuck. And that's not even one of
Verity
the
fuck.
worst things I've been called, you know, and like just the way she goes about it. But she she has had a real hard life in childhood, right? And then
Yes.
she's got to break down walls to come to trust, and especially like her relationship with Sunny, like really connecting with with her, and but then growing and getting to the point where the way she stands up, I thought it was really cool that after the fight against her shady fucking uncle Duke Michael and
I
all the rest
was, of
of the
course, the villain, obviously.
yeah, the whole time. But so that like after that, and then Cardinal Zizka comes to Troy, right? And she doesn't put any makeup on. She sits there with all of her bruises and all of her cuts on while she's confronting Zizka and like, hey, fuck you. You tried to have me killed. So if we're gonna have a little alliance where we're bringing the church back together, like the plan was, is like it's gonna cost you. And Zizka's well, God has deep pockets or whatever, she says. But I think that, like Harrison was saying, and George, you mentioned it too, is that she she comes from like street rat. It's like the Aladdin story a little bit, right? It's like the street rat that's the that like truly is the diamond in the rough. So
Mhm.
no, it wasn't the ordained like this is actually Alex Pyrogenitus, daughter of Troy type thing, but she's the one that earned it.
The confession is incredible as well because she only really says it to Sunny, doesn't she? It's like, I faked it, and Sunny doesn't give a shit. She's just like, these people all want to kill me anyway, so who gives a
Right.
fuck?
Yeah, and yeah, she's Sunny's the only one that she confides it in, but then Sunny kind of just tells her, "Is like you're the best person I know, right?" And then she kind of says it back to Sunny is like, "Well, you're the only elf I know, but if elves are like you, then I don't know what the problem is," type of thing. So they find like a kinship in that, I think, which is really cool. And I like, Alex is not she's not stupid, and she's not generic. She's none of those things. She learns what she learns deportment from Baron Rickard. She learns, all of the different things that Balthazar is teaching her as far as, the histories and all that. And she picks it all up. She's quick and she's smart. And so that's what by the end turns her into somebody that could actually be a good leader,
Yeah.
even though she's a thief at heart,
Yeah.
right? Like that's where it
She does it.
starts.
It's kind of what I meant earlier. Is go
Running away. Sorry, Harrison.
no, go ahead, George. Sorry.
She's very, very good at running away, but at all other times she has to be saved by one of the other characters.
Yeah.
She and Diaz both have a little bit of temple in them, right?
Yeah. She does this. That's kind of what I meant earlier when I first said it. It's the fact that like while she learns to become a good ruler, well, also like she does the Giselle thing, right, where she doesn't actually, uh, she's not owed the crown. She's just a proxy, but
Hmm.
she does get it, and she does, like it's. You don't think she is going to get it because of Giselle existing. You think it's going to be some kind of a shit experiment where she's going to be controlled by the Pope, but she's not. She actually is an independent ruler with Brother Diaz as an advisor, which is great.
Hmm.
Which does lead us to the last thing we're going to talk. Well, maybe not the exact last thing, but is the twists and turns, right? There's a couple of
Yep.
them. What kind of twists did you guys see coming, and which ones did you not? Obviously, I saw her not actually being the throne. I did have some second guesses on that, but I thought, nah, she definitely isn't because Joe pushed it so hard in the beginning. I didn't. I did foresee one of them dying, but Baptiste and Vigo were played out really well. I would say this book is probably the most, the least like unexpected book. It's the most predictable, but
Hmm.
I feel like he says that as well. Like I feel like the actual twists and turns are with the character arcs
Yeah.
rather than with the plot lines. Because obviously, even like Duke Michael and Eudoxia both say, "Yes, the best twists are the ones that you predict."
Right. Which
Joe's just going, please
break,
forgive me.
yeah, breaking the fourth wall for sure on
yeah,
that
Joe's
one.
like, I'm not putting that much effort into the plot. Can you guys chill out?
Yeah. Well, and there was a line between Sunny and Alex too. Is like the hidden passageways through the thing. Is like, what the fuck? Hidden passageways? What is this? Some cheesy ass story? It was like, or the best kind of story. It's like
Which is
so
great. It's actually Joe critiquing himself in a way,
right.
which is
And
awesome.
I think the one that so the two that stuck out to me that I called, and I remember when we were having our spoiler chat in the
Mhm.
Discord channel, is I called them out, and it was Duke Michael when he rolled his ankle or whatever the hell happened to him, and he's just like, "Oh, I can't go on." I'm like, "This motherfuckers." He's the one. Like I said it right off the bat. I was like, "This is
Yeah,
the dude.
you
He's the
did.
enemy
You
the whole
did.
time." And then
That's
the other
funny
one
because
was, go ahead.
what he actually says is when he was talking to Alex at the end, when he admits it all, and
Yeah.
he's bragging about it. That's what he says. Like, I was just going to fall off my horse and roll my ankle, but happily they caught up with us, and I was actually stabbed. Like,
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then the other one was that Lady Severa, that Eudoxia's experiment actually worked, and she was Lady
I
Severa, and
yeah,
I called that one out
I
too.
didn't see that one
And
coming.
I just thought it
So
was
I thought it was when Balthazar was talking to her on the lift, and she was like, and he was like, "Oh, nobody else knows about magic except this one person." Like,
right.
okay, that's
And
definitely.
yeah, and I didn't, like I didn't catch ahead of time all the servant girls being the rest of the
No, I didn't
students or
see. I
No,
did
I
not see
didn't.
that coming. Yeah, that was
that was
good.
pretty cool. And
Did you
then
see? Did you see Baron Rickard being like, "Ah, that's actually the binding has literally no power on me. No one knows that, but
no,
like I just go along with it." It's great
no, I
because
didn't see
that
that one.
implies too that the Pope, that the clergy also doesn't know that because they keep putting it on him. They don't know
Yeah.
that, which is great.
Which that is hilarious because he could turn at any time and just
Yes,
take out the
exactly.
entire
Just
holy
kill
city.
everybody.
Yeah. But I think the other cool thing that stuck out just as far as like the twists and how they happen, and a lot of people complained about this. Well, okay, I won't say a lot of people complained about it. I'll say the people that had complaints about this book and saying that it was repetitive was that all of the cousins were repetitive and they were the same person. And I thought that, okay, does it not make sense in a European
Yeah.
royalty family that you have a bunch of these prideful, arrogant, you
Fucks.
know, fucks who all want the throne and they all go about it a little bit different ways? Like, yeah, it's repetitive, but it's also very accurate. I mean, like, look at what started World War One, right? It's three
Yeah.
all
cousins,
all of
like
history.
all of history. And then the twist that I didn't see coming, but I loved, and I feel so bad for the dude, is
Yeah.
Archie. Archie was he was just a good dude, and he was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we,
I
we can make
know.
this work." And he's like, "Listen, also like I'm not into
A good
girls,
twist,
and
though.
I don't think you're really into dudes. So like, we'll make this
You
work.
can
Like you do your thing, I'll do my thing, whatever." It's like,
I
well,
got pure ortho flashbacks.
I
I
love how it goes into such depth as well. It's like we could maybe find a sheet, and
with
we
a
can have
hole,
somebody
a
else
little
there,
hole.
and maybe some flavored lubricant.
I love too. He also like has the lines and stuff too, where he's like, yeah, I don't like girls. Of course, we will have to make errors, obviously, but like we can figure out a way around that. We can have other people involved. Like whatever, it's
Yeah,
fine. Like
yeah,
he was genuinely so cool. Like and he wasn't power hungry. He was logical. He was a leader. Like
yeah.
yeah, he wasn't power hungry. He was somebody. He was a good leader. Like he was like the admiral, right? And
Mhm.
it's to me, it's like I got Orso flashbacks of him being like, as soon as it was like, oh my god, he's too good to be true. I was like, something bad is gonna happen. I'm like, oh
Oh, and
no,
it's just the way that he dies too, and
It's awful.
it's awful. It's so awful. But he's like, if
run,
you had dark hair, you'd be the spitting image of, and then he just starts to get frozen. He's like, run. But
run.
that the first time getting through that one is like, I because that whole scene building up to it, right, is like, is my cup poisoned? Is his cup poisoned? And it just reminds me of like the Princess Bride is like, which poison is getting? He drinks out of both of them or whatever. He's like, is this going to be an iodine powder thing? Like, what the fuck is happening here? And then nope,
Yeah.
it doesn't turn out. Like he's just generally a good dude.
Yeah, I love how
And
he
then
was
he
like
gets shattered.
he went full gay king too. He's like, honey, no, no, honey, you don't like this is beneath me. Like I'm chilling.
Yeah,
I'm not some power hungry testosterone filled maniac. Okay, like I am not an
yeah.
idiot. I loved it so
Yeah,
much.
it's too much effort for that.
Yeah,
We can just make this work. Yeah. No,
yeah.
his that twist was one that I was really happy with, and I'm just sad for Archie.
Me too, man.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Barely
do
knew
think
ye. Barely knew ye.
you barely knew Archie. Oh, that's the perfect character for that. Oh, so one thing that did stick out, and it's not a twist that I didn't see coming, but I thought it was a really cool reveal because in this world, you know, you've got vampires and sorcerers and magicians and demons that come through and all of this stuff. But Balthazar's realization that if Shaxip couldn't break the binding, that the Pope has to actually be like ordained by God, and God actually like he didn't believe in God
Yeah.
before that, and like the power of God. He's like, wait a minute, what the
Real.
if it's like
Shit.
if you can't do it, she's like, yeah, there's levels to this, and I can't
There's
do it.
levels
And
to
they're like,
this.
he's like, wait a second. He's like, God is real. The Pope is really the second coming
Yeah.
of the Savior. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like, that was a cool one. And I remember seeing on Reddit somebody was like, "Oh, I mean, that's just kind of stupid. That it's blah blah blah." Like, shut the fuck up, man. It was like, oh, you can suspend disbelief that there are werewolves. And there's an undead paladin, but you can't suspend belief that God is real in this
I mean,
universe. Like,
I will say too, like to the point, like the logic is sound in that way. But also, in my view, I also saw it just as like the clergy was like, "Holy shit, we detected a super powerful being. We need to get her in the church and use her, even if
yeah,
God ordained or not. We can tell people she is, and people will come to Christ, come to the
that
wheel, no matter what." And I think that's what
that
it
is
actually is, and I love
that
that.
is that's a very astute take on that too, because it definitely could be like Balthazar says, right? Sorcerers just have innate ability. Magicians are the one
Mhm.
that learns. Maybe she's just the most powerful sorcerer
I
that's ever
think she's the most
been around.
powerful source of the because that's what they say basically the first that's what the scientific world inside of the devil says that the first savior she was obviously a powerful sorcerer, right? That's what they
Right.
always say. So this
Yeah.
person is the same thing. They just were able to get her really early on, and they're trying to use her. I have a feeling though in future coming books, the Pope, that little girl is sassy as fuck. She's gonna be doing her own story. Yeah, I'm excited. George, I did ask you if I didn't know if you did or not. No pressure to. You don't put this on the podcast because you're doing the editing. But did you have any questions for Josh about the Devils that other than just running through everything?
I think we've covered pretty much everything. We've had a really good comprehensive
Yeah,
overview. Obviously, if we went through chapter by chapter, there's always more and more to pick out. But
yeah, of course.
Um,
Maybe we will one day. You'll find out soon enough, audience.
that it is. I think I was on a flight on Monday, and the kid next to me on the plane asked me what I was reading because I had the Cormac McCarthy Blood Meridian, right? And he's like, "Oh, you know," he said that he just started getting into reading, and like, what would I recommend? And I was like, "Well, I wouldn't start with Cormac McCarthy."
don't read this kid, this will fuck you
I was like,
up.
don't read this. And he was like early 20s, whatever. And then he starts asking. So I go through the whole Abercrombie spiel, and I'm telling him everything is like first law, you got to go with this, blah blah blah, whatever. I was like, but the Devils is also one where if you want to
Yes,
see like, to me at this, like, the Devils isn't a bad introduction to Joe by any means. Like, if somebody hasn't and if you want to get them to see if they actually like Joe's
the
writing,
style. Yes,
the style of his writing and his character work and his banter, instead of saying like, read this 9+ short story book series.
With best served
If you
cold, where it's really confusing. Like half the story doesn't make sense because you haven't got the
right.
background.
And it's like, and that, might be blasphemous, and people will throw rotten produce at me if they ever see me for saying that. But like,
produce.
the Devils is a legit spot for. So
Yeah,
I've got my friend Erin, who she was reading. She got all the way up to the heroes, and she liked it all, right? And she really loved Best Served Cold, but the heroes was a little bit like she got bogged down on it. And then the
Mhm.
Devils came out right when she was in the Heroes. And so I gave her the extra copy that I got at the book signing, and she's like, "Oh, I freaking love this," because Terry Pratchett's her favorite author. So this was
Perfect.
much more along
Her
those
speed.
lines, right? The absurd, and she's like, "This is awesome. It's my favorite Abercrombie book by far." So I can see how people, depending on how they like. I just have a little bit of a darker, more cynical, Rage Against the Machine kind of vibe in my life,
I
and
feel
so.
like the people who get drawn in by the start of Blade itself, because the start of Blade itself is a mood,
Mhm.
it's a feeling.
It's very traditional too.
There's nothing very like tangible there to grasp onto, but if you get it, you get it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If that in that first third or half of the blade itself, if you don't put it down and never come back to it, like if you're into it there, you're in for the whole boat.
Yeah,
Like you're all
you're
the
there
way
for
through.
the whole ride.
And then the Devils is one where it just picks up so quick. And like we said at the beginning, it's easy to get through. It's
And so
fast
much
paced.
goes on. Joe always has this problems with the start of books where he either has to put a big event at the beginning or does nothing
That's a
Right.
good
for the
point.
beginning. And I feel like in the Devils, it's very good that he introduces the characters very, very, very gradually, but they all get introduced at a point where that's like an event of itself, and
Right.
then you get all the different POVs at that point,
Yep.
and they're more connected to the actual plot than they are usually with his other little people kind of
Yeah.
chapters, where he
Yeah.
switches a lot.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought about this. One thing that we didn't talk about that really stuck out to me that was very, very interesting, which so maybe he'll do this again in the next books because he's talking about, the next book's going to have witches in it. But that whole, like, the manhunter, that creepy manhunter dude, and that whole the twin, like that group that the Angel of Troy had on his side, that
Yeah.
the Dane Wolf and them is like, oh, like their whole they're their own little group, right? They're their own little devil's group that
Yeah.
They
could have
are.
their
Yes.
whole own little story. And it's just like when the manhunter was trying to find Sunny, and she was all hurt and she's hiding in the cathedral and she's trying to stay invisible, and like just his voice and the way he's talking to her, I'm like, oh, this is such a creepy guy. But like the the
As well, it's just like, is that a crone? Oh no, it's a crone. Who crones if they can help it?
yeah, the crooner. Yeah.
I
And
do
so,
think too the funny part about those twins, like I do like how like it was like there's just like kind of world building magic system stuff going on with them. But the only thing I could think of when I was reading about the twins was I was Yolway being like, I fucking hate those twins.
and
Joe
it
Joe
was
obviously has had some kind of relationship with twins and he does not like them.
that's probably a good bet. We'll have to ask him the next time we go to a signing
Do you
or
have an
something. It's
issue
like,
with twins, Joe?
what's your problem, man?
I
But
do have to say that is probably the one thing that I don't like as much about the Devils as I do about other Joe Abercrombie stuff is that he is sort of being self-referential in a lot of jokes and things like they're jokes about being realistic or certain other
yep,
things
yep.
the characters say and they come up and everybody's just like it's like the pause for laughter bit in a film.
It
It's
is.
like,
There is a little bit of that breaking
He
the
does
fourth wall type
marvel a
stuff
little
in this,
bit. Yeah, he does some
a
marvel.
little bit.
Yeah.
He's wallowing in his own glory. Joe, stop it.
Yeah,
I don't think
but
it's 100% that. I think some of that may be true, but I think some of it is his subconscious. Just like he can't help but make those references because that's how his brain actually works.
well, and so I don't know if you guys saw, but he just joined Instagram, right? He's got his account on Instagram now, and he
I gotta get in
starts.
there.
Yeah, so he
Let's go.
he's been posting some stuff, and it's hilarious because Will and I both commented on one of his things, but it's hilarious because he's sitting in a library or a coffee shop or something, right? And he's holding a Starbucks cup, and he's talking about how people ask him, if he thinks his humor and his banter is the best part of his books. And I'm a bit offended by that because I was really going for, the solemn, the Tolkien
Yeah, yeah.
style, deep thing. He's like, so no, I don't like my humor. So he's taking the piss out of himself in his comment because obviously he does. And that's the thing, right? Like he does it so well. That's just who he is. That's his mannerism to make those jokes about himself.
He is. He's like, he's got all these like.
That's the one. That's the one.
He's like, oh, it's me, Joe Abercrombie. Like he's so funny.
Yeah, but
I will say to Josh,
I love the fact that he's got Joel on his coffee cup as well.
My favorite. Like, that was the great throwback to our spoof episode.
Maybe he's listened to that. Maybe he's listened to that, and that's where he got it. Because that's
Joel
after I told him about the podcast, and both Jeff and Harrison were kind of like sketchy about it and didn't say much, and I just straight went up to him and said, we make a podcast about specifically you.
I wasn't sketchy about it. Josh was there. I specifically.
No, I made the point. I made eye contact and everything. I don't do that very often.
Harrison did bring it up as well. Harrison did bring it up as well.
Josh, you were trying to finish your point. I'm so sorry.
No, it was that. It was the whole Joel Abercrombie thing.
Joel Abercrombie. It is so funny. I think it's funny too, like how he's so like Josh. Whenever we went there, I told you too. I didn't expect him to be so like he was so funny. Like he was stand-up comedy funny. He was hilarious.
He is. He's very, very funny.
Yeah, I don't think he can turn it off, man. It's like that's just what what he is.
Yeah.
He's
one of the questions he got asked at our session was like, what do you have to like one word to describe all of the other people that you went on the panel with? So like Brandon Sanderson and Robin Hobb and everything. And he went through all the list and he did this long one about them, and they said lovely, the word for every single one of them.
Yeah.
So like he went through a long spiel about all of them, and they just said the one word that I would pick was lovely.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, he's also though at the same time very, very respectful. So I really appreciate about him.
He was super respectful, and like during the signing, taking the time with everybody, and it was great. And I just asked him because he's on his blog, he always posts what movies or shows or games he's been playing. So I know he really loves Elden Ring, and I asked him if he planned on getting Night Rain, the multiplayer one, because I was just wondering, like, are you going to get that or not? And he's like, you know what? I like the single player games. It's like, because I don't have friends. Who the fuck am I going to play it with?
He was hilarious. Yeah, he gave.
I feel that in my heart.
Yeah, exactly. Well, boys, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Would you guys go ahead, Josh? Go ahead.
One thing. You got to say, right? We've talked about the adaptations of Joe's work so many damn times, and freaking James Cameron picked up The Devils, which, I mean, that's a big hitter. That's like James Cameron is huge.
We'll see that film maybe.
If James Cameron is alive, we will get a Devils movie, and it will be fucking amazing. Let's be real. Yeah. But if he's alive, by the time he's done with Avatar,
we could do a whole fucking episode on casting and like directors and everything else.
We should. Maybe.
I think we should do that at some point. Yeah. We should milk this baby for all it has.
But I totally agree, Josh. James Cameron picking it up. It does make me wonder too if James Cameron has read his other books and is a fan. But James Cameron James Cameron gets obsessed about stuff. He watches something or reads something and goes, "Holy shit! I gotta make a movie about that." So I guarantee you. He read The Devil, said, "I love this book. I need to make a movie about it." And he posted it online that he wanted to do that, which would be so
He
cool.
optioned it less than 14 days after it published. It was like less than 2 weeks later. He had already optioned it. That's pretty crazy.
He's definitely a First Law fan.
He definitely has read the First Law, just maybe doesn't think it's adaptable. Right, yeah. That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. This is a passion project for the three of us, or the 3.5 of us today, I guess. And your support does mean so much. Join us next week as we do another special episode, one more. And please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts on. Please rate and review the podcast as it helps spread our reach.
And make sure you follow us on all the social media. And we have a website. It's circletheworldpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you again for listening.
I am Balthazar Shampivam Jaxi. He sounds a fucking prick.